Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. September 22nd, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services. This is the Kuhner Report.
The chief is now on the warpath. That's right, my friends. Hiawatha. Elizabeth Warren supporters are now out to bring down the Kuhner man. And the question is, muzzle me by going after people who support this show. Okay, my friends, here is now the absolute latest. As you know, I confronted Elizabeth Warren. That's just what I do. I confront the moonbats, whether it be in this state or around the entire country. That's what I did under Obama. That's what I did for Hillary. I was one of the few voices that predicted Trump was going to win months and months before the election. And so, as you know, in Boston, in Massachusetts, in New England, in many ways, for most of the left, I have become public enemy number one. And so Elizabeth Warren was here in our studios doing a pre-taped interview with the veterans who do a very good show. I was told that she was here. Literally a couple minutes later, I showed up at the studio, saw her, said, whoa, whoa. She finished her interview. I confronted her, and I said this. Roll it, Brittany.
I asked you one quick question. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make it clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And
but I ended up, hold on, no, I ended up graduating, hold on. I ended up graduating,
Cambridge, do you know?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. And I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities,
but you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are a multimillionaire and you have a mansion in Cambridge, do you not? It's worth north of $2 million.
I had opportunities because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. It's so I can make sure that the next kid
but
and
you're
the
part
next
of the 1%,
What I
and you
am is
rail
I'm
against
part-
the 1%.
I'm-
You don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a multimillionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I find.
You mean the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
This now has gone viral. It's now one of the most popular stories up on the Daily Caller. Gateway Pundit, hat tip to them, they linked to it. Fox played it this morning. It's up on Fox News' website, and now the Drudge Report has now linked to this. So it's gone everywhere. Talk show hosts are talking about it. It's everywhere. It's literally now everywhere. And so I exposed her. I exposed her for the phony, the fraud, and the hypocrite that she is. And now, because of this, she is now telling Democrats in the state to go after me, and in particular to go after the people who back this show. This is how they roll. Because one voice of dissent in this state is one voice too many. And so what I find incredible is, and I said this to Brittany during our pre-show meeting, I said, Brittany, did I assault her? Niet. Did I insult her? Niet. Did I, as they like to say, did I grab her by the pee, as they alleged Donald Trump does to women? Yet. I asked her a simple question, 1,000% factually accurate. In fact, you may not see it if you just hear the audio, but if you see the video, she's actually nodding her head like she has to admit it. Yes. Do you own a $2 million plus mansion in Cambridge? Yes. Are you worth north of $15 million? Yes. What's the problem, Liar Watha? What's the problem, Chief? So you can't handle a simple, tough question? You can't even handle that? If you can't handle a tough question about the number one issue, namely the 99% versus the 1% and how the system is rigged, and it's rigged in favor of the rich and the wealthy, then A, you're not ready to be a senator, and B, you're certainly not ready to be a presidential candidate. That, there's no question about it. But instead of saying, hey, it's obvious I'm going to be asked on this, and I need to be able to better defend myself, because she can't. Because I exposed her for the hypocrite and the liar that she is. So now what she's trying to do, and the Democrats, you know how this is a one-party state, for the most part. It is a mafia state. The Democrats run this state the way the Irish mob used to run Southie. So now what they're trying to do is, they can't touch me. Remember I always told you this? You want to survive in this business, you have to be beyond reproach. So there's nothing to audit. There's just literally, when it comes to my finances, there's nothing to audit. I have very few deductions. It's basically the home deduction. That's it. What else can you do? So they go after the financial supporters of this show. And so the word has now gone out that she has told the Democrats in this state, quote unquote, no money, no show. And so she is trying to silence and muzzle me. But it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now, and I'm speaking to you directly, Senator Warren, maybe these kinds of communist, thuggish tactics, maybe they worked in the Soviet Union. But this is not Castro's Cuba. At least not yet. Here we still have something called freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And so let me get to the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is this. You, as I lay out in my column, by the way, we've reposted it. Because now that it's now gone literally national, even international, I have now reposted my column. It's up on WRKO.com. Please, I urge all of you, read it, send it around. I completely expose her. It's called Confronting Elizabeth Warren, Kuhner's Corner. As I lay out in my column, she's not some equal opportunity Democrat that she tries to claim. No one's taken away commuter colleges. No one's taken away public access to public universities or state schools. In fact, there's more funding now for public institutions, community colleges, state schools than there's ever been. In fact, just so that you know, the federal government is now spending more on social programs now than ever in the history of the United States. But let that go. She's the one that says being wealthy is evil. She is the one that says the rich are bad. She is the one that consistently says you didn't build that. She's the one that says soak the rich. It's time to redistribute wealth. Take from the producers, take from the big 1% and redistribute it to everybody else. Well, Chief, as I lay out in my column, Chief, Liar Watha, if being wealthy and rich are so bad, how come you're wealthy and rich? If being part of the 1% is so evil, how come you don't hand over your millions of dollars to the poor? But instead, you live in a $2.7 million mansion in Cambridge. You drive around in either fancy BMWs or high-end SUVs, nothing but the best for you. And you now are worth north of $15 million. You're a multimillionaire many times over. You know, what she's furious about, what she is enraged about, is that her shtick, her image, is that she was just a law professor. Yes, everybody knows about she got paid $350,000 to teach one course at Harvard. But everybody in the state thinks, well, you know, she's a $400,000 a year woman. She's a high-end academic. No. No. She's as wealthy as they come. And so here is what she fears, is that if this gets out, this is going to cost her election. And I'll tell you why. But she fears the most is that the progressives in the Democratic Party, the Bernie supporters, are going to finally see her for the phony and the fraud that she is. For example, okay, our sister station AAF, I love those guys. I tease them about marijuana use and stuff. Actually, most of them don't even do pot, but I like to joke around because they're rock and roll guys. Many of them, believe it or not, are Bernie supporters. When I did my hit on her, and then I wrote my column, okay, when I did my interview with her, and then I did my column, they walked up to me, these Bernie supporters, and they said, Jeff, I had no idea. I had no idea about her mansion. I had no idea that she was worth $10-15 million. I had no idea about how she made her money. You know what they said to me? They go, Jeff, she talks like Bernie, but she acts like Hillary. She talks like a progressive, but it's follow the money, line my pockets. And once that gets out, that she's just as big a phony and a hypocrite as Hillary. She talks an anti-Wall Street, anti-big business game, but she loves the cash. She talks like Bernie, but she acts like Hillary. And so, let me just, from my own column, okay, I just want to lay it out for you. And please go to WRKO.com, download it, pass it on to your friends. So, this is how she made her money. This is what she doesn't want you, the voters, the people of Massachusetts and America to know. This is what she's trying to cover up. She used to flip houses. Okay, I've talked about this many times. She was a house flipper. She took advantage of the elderly. She took advantage of people who foreclosed. She bought low and sold high. Furthermore, she lied about her Native American ancestry. In fact, when I did research on this, as I point out in my column, her ancestors, I'm talking about Elizabeth Warren now, never once claimed on the census that they were Native American. In fact, they always claimed that they were white. Warren herself was enrolled, never did she ever enroll himself. Not once was she enrolled as a member of any Native American tribe. Yet when she applied for law school, and then later on to teach at law school, she knew she was under tremendous pressure. They were under tremendous pressure to to hire minorities. So, one of the most cynical things I've ever seen done, she just checked off that she was a Cherokee Indian. And boom, that's how she got jobs at the University of Pennsylvania and then eventually Harvard. And the day she got tenure, she then changed herself from being a Native American to being a Caucasian. But let me tell you what else you don't know about Elizabeth Warren. For years, she pimped out her position at Harvard to be a corporate consultant. For example, she was a big consultant for major insurance companies and the big banks. Travelers Insurance Company paid her $212,000 between 2008 and 2010 to do consulting on asbestos litigation. She was also a major consultant for the law firm Wilmer, Cutler, Pickering, Hale, and Dorr. You know who their big clients were? You know who she was giving advice to? And she made untold sums of money? J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs. And so as I point out in my column, her anti-big business, anti-Wall Street rhetoric, that may play well with the progressives. But she loves the corporate cash. She couldn't get enough of it. My friends, she took money from the 1%. She made her money from the 1%. She lives and earns like those in the 1%. She is a complete phony. She is a crony capitalist. The very thing she rails against. And you know why she freaked out when I confronted her? Because deep down, she knows it. 617-266-6868 is the number. Kuhner Country, I'm going to ask you now for a personal favor. Tomorrow, I'm going to be speaking at the Burlington Marriott, okay, September 23rd at 11 a.m. Bill Kelly will be there. He's been a big financial backer of this show, the sponsor. There are still some tickets available. If you want to show up, call now, 888-800-1881. It's free. You'll come down. You'll have a wonderful brunch. He and his retirement experts will show you how to grow, protect, and shield your retirement nest egg. It's great advice for you. And then I will give my annual State of the Presidency address. Jeff Deal, who will be challenging Elizabeth Warren, will be there as well tomorrow to give a talk. I would love to see all of you there, and it would be nice to show some real support for Bill as he stands by me as Elizabeth Warren's people try to come after me. So if you can, call 888-800-1881, 888-800-1881. You can still get a seat today. They're going to open up a second room. If you can't make it tomorrow, which is fine, it's short notice for many of you, can you just please call the number and thank Bill for supporting the Kuhner Report? And let him know that you stand with him shoulder to shoulder. If the line is busy, please call him. Just let him know he's got our back, and we really appreciate it. 888-800-1881 is the number again. Okay, Elizabeth Warren, now on the warpath. 617-266-6868. Is she a liar? Is she a fraud? And is she a hypocrite? I say yes. What do you say? All of your calls. Next. 1228 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, it's now the Kuhner Man versus Hiawatha. Her supporters are trying to muzzle me. It's not going to work. My confrontation with her it's on Drudge, it's on Daily Caller, it's on Fox News, it's on the Fox News website. Kuhner Country, she knows it. We wounded her, and we wounded her good. And my question to you now is this. The more the people find out about her crony capitalism, her connections to Goldman Sachs, JP Chase Morgan, Citigroup, $212,000 doing consulting for Travelers Insurance, will this cost her support even among progressives? Jay in Brighton, you're up next. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Hi.
First, I thought you did a great job on the. I saw the video on WRKO.
Okay.
And what I liked about it was that it's very rare that she or people like her ever get challenged by anybody. I mean, they always meet up with people that give them softball questions. So I enjoyed it. It was sort of seeing evil unmasked.
Jay, I wish you could have seen her face the way I did. Her eyes popped out of her, literally, they popped out of her socket. She was red. Her body started jerking. I thought she wanted to strangle me.
Well, yeah, but also when I first saw the video, I didn't recognize you. I thought it was like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because of the way you look. I thought you were. I just imagined you something different than you look.
Oh
great.
no, I've been working out. No, my wife's got me on a good workout regimen, so I've been pumping some iron.
I could see. You're just missing the tattoos. But I had some criticism.
Go.
But I'm allowed. Am I allowed to withdraw my criticism before I deliver it?
No, I'll tell you what, Jay. Listen, we're up against it. Can you hang on? I want you to be on.
Yeah.
You tell me the criticisms, okay? Okay, so we're going to have Jay on. He's going to throw some... Hey, this is the last free speech zone left in America. Your reaction next.
WRKO, the voice of Boston.
1237 here on the great WRKO. Okay, Drudge Report is now linked to this, to the video. Fox News is now playing it. It's on the Fox News website. Daily Caller, Gateway Pundit. The Washington Times has now done a whole story on it as well. My question is this. It's now gone national, even international. Where's the local media? Where is the local media? Why are they covering up for Elizabeth Warren? Why are they afraid to know of her connections to Goldman Sachs, of JP Morgan Chase, of Citigroup, of Travelers Insurance, that she was a house flipper, that she's a complete phony Indian, that she was in bed with the 1% for most of her career after she got tenure at Harvard? Why do they not want these facts and the truth to get out? And I'm talking about the Boston Herald. I'm talking about the Boston Globe, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 25. The national media is linking to it and discussing it, but the local media is dead silent. Shame on you. They're in the tank for the chief, and everybody knows it. 617-266-6868. Okay, Jay from Brighton, we held over. Jay, you liked that I confronted her, but you had some criticisms. Go, my friend.
Yes. My criticism is when I first looked for it, I could only find it on WRKO. I didn't see it on YouTube. I looked up YouTube. I looked up Elizabeth Warren. I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect. But I looked up it, and I think it needs to get onto YouTube to really go, to really expand its reach. And there's keywords that are involved. This might be a little technical, but there are keywords that are connected to this video, like Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Boston visit, Jeffrey Kuhner, Elizabeth Warren. And that way, my criticism is to get it spread more.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you very much. Brittany, let's work on that. Let's get that baby up on YouTube. My column, I've reposted it. Please get it out there. I lay out all of her nefarious links to big banks, to corporate America, to Wall Street, how she lined her pockets with the 1% to become the 1% as this phony and fraud rails against the 1%. It's up on WRKO.com, Kuhner's Corner, confronting Elizabeth Warren. 617-266-6868. Janine in Seattle. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, greetings from the Northwest to the Northeast. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great today. How are you, Janine?
Great. I miss you guys. I haven't called in a long time.
Welcome back.
Thanks. All I got to say is, Jeff, that was brutal. Brutally good, but brutal. I love it. I wish I was there, to, like you said, to see the reaction of Chief Liawatha.
Well, I got to tell you, Janine, you should have seen Brittany's face. Brittany's face was like priceless. Brittany was looking like, is she going to do it? Is she going to tomahawk the Kuhner man?
Well, you're right. She's so phony and fake. It's sickening.
No, I'm with you, Janine, and thank you for that call. And look, I think that's why, frankly, they're trying to desperately lash out against this show. That's why she's now, she's giving the orders to Democrats in this state. Kuhner's got to go down. And this show has to go down. And the financial backers of this show have to go down. Because they don't want her to be exposed. Look, I don't want to say who, okay? Brittany showed the video a couple days ago to a couple of friends. Let me just call them friends. And, they're regular people, regular folks. They're not really partisan, Democrat, Republican, whatever. They just vote for the best candidate. When she showed them the video, their first reaction was, what? She owns what? She owns a mansion? What? She's a multimillionaire? What? And Brittany was like, yeah, you didn't know that? She goes, well, we knew about the $350,000 to teach one course, but we thought she was an academic, a professor. We didn't know that she was, that she was rich, because all she does is rail against the rich. Or that she's a house flipper. They had like, what? She was a house flipper? What? That she has ties to Goldman Sachs? What? That she was a corporate consultant? What? So they're completely shocked and horrified. And that the more this gets out, this is what they fear. The Bernie people will defect. She will be seen as a fraud and a phony. And this may cost her not just election in 2020 for the presidential nomination, but now they see Jeff Deal. And they see he's not going to be afraid to go after her. And now they're in full panic mode. 617-266-6868. Eddie in Quincy. Go ahead, Eddie.
Jeff, you got to slow down, my man. They're going to accuse you of trying to start another Indian war. Jeff, this is the woman that is so concerned about the 99%. She didn't check off the little box on the state tax return to pay at the old higher rate until she got caught. And just in typical Democratic politician, she checks it off now. And number two, I'm going to give you a scary thought, Jeff. Can you see this woman as president, and she's sitting across the table from Vladimir Putin, and she starts shaking and pointing her finger, and those old doorknob eyes getting bigger and bigger, and the stuttering starts? Wow.
We'll be finished. No, I'm telling you honestly, we're finished. No, I'll be honest with you, okay? The last 24 to 48 hours, I have to be careful how I say this because I've had sources who've told me this. I have to protect their anonymity. Forget Vladimir Putin. I'm really worried about how she's going to treat conservatives in this country, or frankly, anybody who disagrees with her. When I told Grace this morning what her supporters are trying to do, she's like, they can't do that. I go, you better believe it, they can do it. Because they're a bunch of mafia thugs. So, because I asked her one tough question, you want to bankrupt everybody around me? You want to destroy everybody around me? You want to silence and muzzle me in this show? Are you that afraid of the truth? You see, deep down, and I've been saying this now for many years, and every time I say it, people look at me like I'm crazy. When you scratch a liberal, deep down there's a totalitarian screaming, wanting to get out. Deep down there's a communist or a fascist wanting to get out. And I said this to Grace this morning. I'm a white diaper baby. You know the expression, a red diaper baby? You were basically born as a communist or as a leftist. Well, the color white is the color of anti-communism. The communists went after my grandfather. The communists went after my father. I was a white diaper baby. You think I'm going to allow them to seize power here? No way. So for the first time, I'm telling you, I know I'm getting the reaction already on my text machine and on my cell phone. The Democrats cannot believe it. They thought they were going to cower me today. They cannot believe now that I'm standing up to them. And so I'm putting every single one of these Democratic thugs on notice. You're going to see 10, 15, 20,000 people on the streets of Boston Common if you try to shut this radio show down. It's not going to work. I don't cower to communists. My grandfather didn't do it. My father didn't do it. And I'm not going to do it. Andy in Nebraska. Go ahead, Andy.
Hi, Jeff. Don't you just feel the tolerance from the anti-1% moonbats trying to silence a man who exposed one of the 1%ers they claim to rail against?
It's classic liberal intolerance.
I mean, exactly. I mean, they're communists deep down, and it's the most elitist system you can get.
Andy, you're 1,000% correct.
One last thing. If
Go
there
ahead.
is any Indian war, you can get us Finns to help. We tend to be pretty good in war.
Thank you for that call, Andy. Well, look, again, it's what the communists did. I explained this to Grace this morning. I said, what they would always say is, we are for the working class, in Eastern Europe. We are for the people, for the working class. We want equality for everybody. Okay. There they were in their Dachas. There they are with their fancy cars, Mercedes, BMWs. There they are with these lavish dinners and meals. Honestly, how they didn't drop dead of a heart attack every night is beyond me. So as they got richer and richer, fatter and fatter, thicker and thicker, the people got poorer and poorer. when they rail against the 1%, the capitalist dogs, as the old communists used to call them, but live like the 1%, they just do what the Castros have done, what Chavez did, what Lenin did, what Stalin did, what communists everywhere do. 617-266-6868. Bruce in Wilbraham. Go ahead, Bruce.
I stand with the Kuhner man, and thank you, Bill Kelly, for supporting the Kuhner man.
Thank you, Bruce.
Jeff, I was up at 5:51 this morning, and to my surprise, and God bless him, Fox and Friends First played the video. They give you big kudos for getting after her. Let me ask you one question, and let me make you one point.
Yes.
When you got done with that, Jeff, did you rush off and take a shower?
I mean, did I feel dirty? Yes, I felt very dirty.
Close to her? Now, listen, you forgot one thing on your little list of her indiscretions.
Yes.
Writing a book on a taxpayer dime and doing book tours.
Brilliant. I even forgot about that.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, buddy. You're completely right. In fact, I make that point in the column, but not as explicitly as you do. Here's what I say, okay? Penultimate paragraph. During her term, the chief has done almost nothing for the people of Massachusetts. She's written books, given speeches, and augmented her national profile. But in terms of legislative accomplishments, Warren has achieved zero. What she has done is advance her self-interest, politically and financially. Not only does she do book tours on your dime, she charges people, not for the book, for being able to attend the speech, and then you buy the book. So she's double billing you. Because that's how her buddies at Goldman Sachs taught her how to do it. When you screw 'em good. Paul in Dorchester. Go ahead, Paul.
Good morning, Jeff, and
Hi.
thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, Paul.
Jeff, if you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it. You said 30,000, it's going to be 30,001. Because I'm going to be in there fighting with you, buddy, because I have no country to go back to. These people have ruined the island nation where I came from. So Ronald Reagan said, this is the last bastion on earth. I'm not going to let these liberal moonbats, was always talking about hammering, the middle class is being hammered. You know, Lawrence O'Donnell heard hammering in his headset the other day. It was that woman that was talking, that was Miss Liawatha, Miss Chief Spreading Bull, hammering away. Oh, the middle class is getting hammered. They're getting hammered. You know, this lady's been hammering us for the longest time. She loved that word. But I have no country to go back to. These people have to understand. Me, as a young Democrat, registered Democrat, in this Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, I was voting 2-3 times a day, Jeff. They need to get voter ID. They need to get voter. It was possible. Back in the days growing up, Jeff, I hate to put myself out there. Please don't arrest me. But voter fraud is real. These people cannot win without using the young people in the hood to fraudulently vote for them. We have to get this down, in legislation and have voter ID be mandatory.
Paul, if you don't mind me asking, when you say the island that they ruined where you originally came from, is that Haiti?
That's Haiti, my friend. You know, my father was the first hanging Chad, or the first Al Gore, who ran for Congress twice and won twice. And the dictator said, no, you're too popular. You're a Catholic kid. You're too popular. We're going to have someone else. We're going to play someone else. That's how we end up in America, And they're funding these moonbats left and right, who's creating the chaos in Libya, the mass migrations all over the world because of these freaking red diaper babies, as we see. They're no good to us.
Paul, I want you to know you're a charter member of Kuhner Country. You're part of our country now.
Thank you, Jeff.
God bless you, my friend. 617-266-6868. More with your calls next. Ed in Chelmsford, you're up next. Go ahead, Ed.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
I'll tell you. I'll just tell all the listeners: do not participate in a Granny Warren town hall phone-in meeting. I did the other day, and the sycophantic softball questions she was getting from her fans were terrible. But I did ask her associates if she was in favor of Bernie Sanders' single-payer plan, and they said yes, she was. So I said she's she's in turn going to throw 150 million Americans off their employee-sponsored health care. And they didn't. They said, "Well, you'll have to answer. You'll have to ask her that." And they never took my call, and it's pathetic, you know.
Well, Ed, it's more than that. Not only does she support Bernie's Medicare for all, basically it's single payer,
right?
But that bill literally allows health care to be given to anybody in the world. If you actually read the bill, I'm not kidding. It provides health care, government-paid health care, to every illegal immigrant. So if you come to the United States, it doesn't matter how you get here. If you arrive in America under Bernie's plan, you will get full health coverage. Full. Paid for by you and me. So it literally invites the world to come to America, and if this thing passes, then we would have to pay for the health insurance of not just everybody, every American citizen, government-sponsored health care, but every potential person in the world if they can just come to the United States. It is the most insane idea I have ever seen in my life. It would bankrupt us overnight. Boston Globe, silent. Boston Herald, silent. The local media, silent. So that's why when I confronted her, the chief had a complete meltdown because she's not used to getting a tough question. And my friends, I'm telling you, she's not ready for prime time, not even close. And now she wants her thugs in the Democratic Party to shut this show down. Well, Chief, I got a message from me to you. Blank off.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.